Hi, I'm Dr. Mary. Welcome to this vital 12-minute masterclass on heart health and emergency preparedness. Today we aren't just talking about symptoms, we're talking about the tools you need to protect your life and the lives of those you love. Most people imagine a heart attack as a sudden, crushing event, the Hollywood version where someone clutches their chest and collapses. But the reality is often much more subtle. Many heart attacks start with symptoms that are incredibly easy to dismiss or mistake for something else. It might feel like a bit of pressure, a touch of indigestion, or just an unusual sense of fatigue that you can't quite explain. The truth is, recognizing these early warning signs and taking action quickly can literally be the difference between life and death. In this session, we will cover the 7 critical signs, the different types of heart attacks, and exactly what happens when you call for help. Before we begin, remember, this video is for educational purposes and is not personal medical advice. If you suspect an emergency, call help now. To understand the warning signs, we first have to understand what is actually happening inside your heart during a myocardial infarction. A heart attack occurs when the blood flow that brings oxygen to the heart muscle is severely reduced or cut off. This is a medical emergency. This usually happens because a blood clot forms on top of a patch of plaque that has built up over years inside one of your coronary arteries. When that flow stops, the heart muscle begins to be starved of oxygen. Without oxygen, those specialized muscle cells can begin to die within minutes. Doctors often talk about 2 main types: STEMI, which is a total blockage of a major artery, and NSTEMI, which is a partial or temporary blockage. While a STEMI is often more dramatic, both are serious and require immediate medical intervention to prevent permanent heart damage. Section 2. Why the location of the blockage matters. Your heart has several major arteries, and where the clot forms determines the severity. The LAD, or left anterior descending artery, provides blood to a large portion of the heart. A total block here is often called the widowmaker. Other blockages might occur in the right coronary artery or the circumflex. Each can present with slightly different patterns of radiating pain. Regardless of the location, the rule remains the same. Time is muscle. Every minute you wait increases the risk of irreversible scarring. It's also important to distinguish a heart attack from cardiac arrest. A heart attack is a circulation problem where flow is blocked. Cardiac arrest is an electrical problem where the heart suddenly stops beating. A heart attack can sometimes lead to cardiac arrest, making speed even more vital. Let's look at the first and most common sign: chest pressure, tightness, or a general sense of discomfort in the center of the chest. It doesn't always feel like a sharp pain. It's often described as a heavy weight sitting on the chest or a tight squeezing sensation. This discomfort might last for several minutes, or it might go away and then come back. Never ignore it just because it isn't constant. Some people have stable angina, which is chest pain during exercise that stops with rest, but a heart attack is new, different, or doesn't stop. One of the biggest mistakes is waiting for the pain to be sharp or unbearable. Pressure-like discomfort is actually a much more common presentation. Sign number 2 is shortness of breath. This can happen with or without chest discomfort, and it's a major red flag that shouldn't be ignored. You might feel winded while doing something that normally wouldn't bother you, or you might feel like you just can't take a deep, satisfying breath. This happens because the heart isn't pumping blood effectively to the lungs, making your respiratory system work overtime to compensate. Sign 3 is pain that spreads or radiates. While we classically think of the left arm, it can actually spread to several different areas. Pay close attention to discomfort that moves into your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, or even into your upper back between the shoulder blades. This is called referred pain. Your nerves are essentially sending mixed signals to the brain about where the distress is coming from. Sign 4 is nausea, vomiting, or symptoms that feel like severe indigestion. This is often mistaken for a stomach bug or a bad meal. Some people describe feeling unusually bloated or having a sense of heartburn that just won't go away even after taking antacids. Because the bottom of the heart sits right above the diaphragm, the brain can sometimes interpret heart distress as stomach trouble. Sign 5 is breaking out into a cold sweat. If you suddenly feel clammy or cold and sweaty without a clear reason, your body is in distress. This cold sweat occurs because the heart is under extreme stress and the autonomic nervous system is reacting to the crisis. Sign 6 is unusual fatigue or sudden weakness. This is a particularly important symptom for women to be aware of during their daily routine. It's not just being tired, it's a feeling of profound exhaustion that feels completely out of proportion to what you've actually been doing. In some cases, this unusual fatigue can even show up days before the actual heart attack event. It's a subtle warning that the heart is struggling. Finally, sign 7 is lightheadedness, dizziness, or even fainting. This can happen when the heart isn't pumping enough oxygen to the brain. If you feel like you might pass out or the room starts spinning, your cardiovascular system may be struggling to maintain adequate pressure. It's vital to remember that heart attack symptoms can look very different from person to person. Not everyone has the same experience. Older adults, people with diabetes, and women are much more likely to have less classic symptoms and more vague signs like nausea. They might mostly feel fatigue or shortness of breath. This does not mean the heart attack is less dangerous or less urgent. It means you must be more vigilant. For people with diabetes, nerve damage, or neuropathy can actually dull the pain signals from the heart, leading to silent heart attacks. Now, let's talk about your action plan. If you or someone you're with experiences these symptoms for more than a few minutes, you must act. Call emergency services immediately. Don't waste time trying to call your primary doctor or a family member first. Every second counts. Be ready to give the dispatcher your exact location, a clear description of the symptoms, and your age. Stay on the line until they arrive. One critical rule: do not drive yourself to the hospital if you feel unwell. You need the medical monitoring that starts in the ambulance. If you are alone, call for help, then unlock your front door and wait for the paramedics. This ensures they can get to you quickly. The dispatcher may advise you to chew a regular strength aspirin while waiting. This can help slow down the formation of the blood clot. Try to stay calm and sit or lie down. Keeping your heart rate as low as possible while waiting for help is important. Once you reach the hospital, the team will move quickly. You will likely receive an immediate EKG and blood tests to look for heart damage markers. They are looking for a protein called troponin. High levels in the blood suggest that heart muscle cells have been injured. If a blockage is confirmed, you may be taken to a catheterization lab where specialists can use stents to reopen the artery and restore flow. A stent is a tiny mesh tube that keeps the artery open. This process can stop a heart attack in its tracks and prevent further damage. Even if symptoms feel mild, if they are new and concerning, it is always safer to be evaluated by a professional. It's better to be sure. Here is what not to do. Don't wait for symptoms to get severe. Don't assume it's just anxiety or a bad case of heartburn. And please, do not try to sleep it off. If it is a heart attack, that extra time spent sleeping could lead to permanent heart damage. To recap, remember: chest pressure, shortness of breath, radiating pain, nausea, cold sweats, unusual fatigue, and dizziness. Knowledge is power, but prevention is key. Managing your cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar levels reduces your risk significantly. Regular checkups with your physician to know your numbers can help identify risks long before they become an emergency. Key risk factors include smoking, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and a sedentary lifestyle. Managing these is your primary defense. If you have already experienced a heart attack, cardiac rehabilitation is a specialized program designed to help you recover and prevent future events. This includes guided exercise, nutritional counseling, and stress management. It's a team-based approach to your long-term heart health. Recovery also means following your medication plan exactly. Medications like beta blockers or statins are essential tools for long-term protection. Never stop taking your heart medications without consulting your cardiologist. They are often prescribed to prevent future clots and reduce strain. Taking these signs seriously is the best way to protect your heart and your future. Thank you for being proactive about your health. If you want to learn more about risk factors or cholesterol management, comment heart below. We'll use your feedback for future videos. Subscribe for more calm, evidence-based health tips. I'm Dr. Mary. Thank you for watching and stay heart healthy.